guys, I'm Melissa and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you my weekly wrap-up of the things that I've read over the past week. Last week was my best reading week in terms of finishes, but it's because I had a couple of very long books on my TBR for the week. And so yeah, I finished 2 books, so let's talk about them. The first book that I finished was I finally finished Empire of the Vampire by Kristoff. This obviously is 720 pages, so very long, and I did it for a sort of reading vlog where I read books about vampires. 2 books about vampires. It will come up over the week if you want to know my more in-depth thoughts, if you will. This one is a fantasy book set in a fantasy world. We're living in a world where true vampires, like full-blooded vampires, have sort of taken over and rules, are the strongest beings. And then we have sort of people who are half vampire, half human, and they sort of tries to protect the humans from the full-blooded vampires. And our main character, Gabrielle, is one of those that protects the world. And we are seeing it from his perspective. He's sort of telling his story. We know that he is captured by some of the vampires, like the full vampires, and he's been instructed to tell his story about things like how he found the Grail and stuff. And you know from the beginning that he's been through like a lot of things and he's not in a good place, but he's telling his story, retelling everything that he's experienced, that they want to know about him, how he became part of the Silver Guard, and how yeah, his life just changed from that then onwards. And yeah, it's a rough reading experience in some places because there's a lot of things that he's got through. But then there's also some of the, but it's also, you know that our main character, Gabriel, he doesn't die because he's not dead at this point. He might die later on, we don't know, obviously, but as he's telling the story, he's not. So you know that, but you don't know what's going to happen to him in the process, and you don't know what's going to happen to his characters around him that makes him react and puts him in the state that he's in right now. I think that it was a really good book. I really enjoyed my time with it. The storytelling is something that is, if you don't like that sort of storytelling way of telling the story, then you might not like this, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting experience, and it sort of jumped around a little bit in time because he tried to sort of fool the author kind of thing, like one who wrote down his story. Chroniqueur, is that probably not what it's called? Yeah, so I thought that it was fun how he would sometimes talk about something and then he would sort of, hey, stop, wait, why did you jump to this one? We didn't talk about this. So he had to sort of jump back and start talking about that thing so that it all connected in the end. And I thought that was an interesting gimmick. This edition that I have, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but they have illustrations throughout the book. And that was really nice seeing them. That I'm happy I did immersion reading, like listening and reading it at the same time. Anyway, but I like that way of telling it, and I think that was fun having these sort of images on the way. As I said, I was immersion reading it, and it was a good way of getting all of the names and sort of things correctly, because there's a lot of French expression in here that I wouldn't have been able to catch if I was reading it on my own. So I gave it, I think, 4.5 stars. It wasn't a full 5, but it was a really, really good book. So 4.5 stars for this one. And I'm looking forward to reading on in the series. The other thing that I finished was I finished Wyoming, Cowboy, Marine by Nicole Helm. This is the first book in the Carstens and Delaney's Battle Tested series, sort of a continuation, a spin-off series to the first Carstens and Delaney series. And in this one we're following a guy. He's moved back into Bend, Wyoming. He's a Marine. But he has decided to start a security company thing, protecting people. And he's called into the station because there's a woman there claiming that her father is missing. But when she states his father's name, he's not in the system. So there's something off with this case, and he reluctantly goes in, but then finds that he can't put the case down. And she leaves before he's actually able to talk to her, because she was like, oh no, I need to go, this was not a big mistake, I need to go home and figure out things on my own. And she walks home, and he sort of stalks her. He doesn't stalk her, he just follows her home. And she knows this, she realizes this, and when sort of they're on her property, she asks him to leave, and she sort of threatens with a gun, but he doesn't leave immediately, but she ends up actually shooting him in his arm and stuff. Sort of like that. But she decides reluctantly that it's okay if he sort of tries to help her find his father and figure out what happened to him. And then some people comes in and actually burns down her house. So he sort of rescues her from that, and then she sort of lives with the Carson family, the Delaney family for a while. Our main male character is Cam Delaney, so he is a Delaney. They're very, very important to know that. But yeah, then things go on, and you figure out that Hilly isn't really who she thought she was. There's been a lot of secrets been hidden from her. And you sort of find out about it a little bit over the book. I enjoyed my time with it, but it's definitely, I think, my least favorite of the Carson Delaney books I've read so far. I gave it 3.5 stars. I definitely have some things that I would have liked differently. The romance itself, I felt like it didn't have super much time to build up. I didn't feel it, at least. But I did like the characters individually, and I liked sort of the mystery surrounding her. But then there were some of the other things that how the mystery parts happened that also didn't super connect with me. So that's why I give it a 3.5 stars, because I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite at all. Now, I'm working on quite a few books. One of them is an audio. I'm listening to Quicksilver by Kelly Hart, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't finished more either, because this is a really long audiobook. I think it's 20 hours. No, it's 20 hours and something, and I have an hour left. I've listened to 9 hours and 22 minutes over last week, so I'm almost done with it, but I'm not done with it yet. I'm sort of liking it. It's interesting. It's better than a lot of the romanticities I've read, so in that way it's okay, but I'll talk to you more about it when I get around to it. I'm also still working on Caressed by Ice by Nalini Singh. I don't know what it is. I just keep not wanting to pick it up, but I'm on page 234. We will see when I eventually pick it up again. Then I picked up Night Play by Shaolin Kenyon. I'm buddy reading this with Shannon. I read the first, the sort of introduction, the legend, the prologue, and the first chapter. And I'm on page 52. I'm liking that one. It's a shifter romance so far, which these two, I don't think I'll put that down until I finish that, because 2 shifter romances at the same time, I don't think they're gonna go together. And finally, actually not finally, but another book I've started is Squire Terrence and His Maiden Knight by Jel Morris. I have half of it left, more or less. I'm enjoying my time with it. It's fun. It has some very humorous moments, and I love the cover of this one. It really made me laugh because I realized it was part of the beginning of the book, so I just thought it was a little bonkers. And finally, I've also started a Kindle book. I shouldn't have started this, but I did. I started Not So Nice Guy by Iris Gray. I read the first, I think, 8 or 10%. I'm not very far into it, so I just read a little bit of it yesterday. Do I have too many books on the go right now? Yes, probably. I have a plan to finish this one today, so it's not too bad. It's okay. So yeah, these are the things that I've been working on over the past week. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of the books that I've been talking about today. What were your thoughts on them? Do you agree with my thoughts? And What are you currently reading? Have you read some great books over the past week? Let me know about that in the comments down below as well. And yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye.